Hello everyone and welcome to Finance Foodie, where today we will be talking about vegetable oil and how it might be negatively impacting your health. And we talked about olive oil last time, but when did other oils become popular and how did they become accessible? So before we jump into it, please subscribe to this channel. It's honestly a free way that you can support Finance Foodie and other channels on YouTube. Also, I just want to say I am still getting over some things, so I might be a little bit stuffy. Please just bear with me. Okay, so we're going to start in the late 19th century, where there was a growing concern among households in America because traditional cooking fats like lard and butter were becoming increasingly more expensive and sometimes hard to come by. And in this era of culinary challenge, a solution emerged from an unexpected source. So, candle maker William Procter and soap maker James Gamble, the founders of Procter & Gamble. So in the late 1800s, soap production was booming, but there was a problem. P&G had a surplus of cottonseed oil, which was a byproduct of cotton processing. And this oil was typically used for making soap, but there was an excess in supply. So they were looking for a solution, and chemist Edwin C. Kaiser was tasked with finding a profitable use for this surplus oil. And like with most things we have today, when trying to do one thing, we end up discovering another. And Kaiser's experiments eventually led to the creation of a new product, hydrogenated cottonseed oil, which was a solid at room temperature. And this discovery was revolutionary, as it provided an alternative to animal fats like lard and butter for cooking. And in 1911, Procter & Gamble introduced this product to the world under the name Crisco. To market Crisco to the public, Procter & Gamble embarked on an extensive advertising campaign that highlighted its versatility, affordability, and purported health benefits. At the time, lard was a staple in many American kitchens, but it was prone to spoilage and it had a distinctive taste. Whereas Crisco did not. It was odorless, flavorless, and had a longer shelf life. So P&G capitalized on these advantages through various advertising mediums, including newspapers, magazines, and radio. And Crisco boasted a smooth texture, neutral flavor, and a high smoke point, making it perfect for frying, baking, and general culinary use. Crisco wasn't just any cooking fat, it was a game changer. And suddenly, households across America had access to an affordable, shelf-stable alternative to traditional fats. But introducing a new cooking fat wasn't enough. Procter & Gamble understood the power of marketing, and they embarked on an ambitious campaign to promote Crisco. They published cookbooks, which became immensely popular and helped cement Crisco's place in American kitchens. They distributed free samples and launched advertising campaigns entailing the virtues of this modern marvel. Crisco became synonymous with innovation and convenience in the kitchen. In fact, one of their slogans during this time was "It's digestible," which says a lot about the other alternatives that were coming into market. Throughout the 20th century, Crisco remained a staple in American households, evolving to include various formulations and packaging sizes. Despite controversies surrounding the health effects of trans fats, which were present in partly hydrogenated oils like Crisco, the brand maintained its popularity through effective marketing and product diversification. So over decades, Crisco continued to evolve. In the recent years, as awareness of health risks associated with trans fats has grown, Procter & Gamble reformulated Crisco to eliminate trans fats entirely, and its original cottonseed oil base gave way to alternatives like soybean and palm oil. Crisco remained a trusted staple in kitchens across the country, a testament to its enduring legacy as an iconic American product. But it also brought research. In 1983, scientists K. Noss, M. Lachenusser, and P. Nerburn conducted test research on rats that targeted Crisco compared to other high fats and diets. So they found that feeding rats 24% Crisco led to greater frequency of colon tumors in the proximal section, but there was no significant differences in colon cancer. But in a separate animal study, also on rats, but published in 1984 by a group of Japanese scientists, they found that Crisco, the cottonseed oil variety, caused weight gain or obesity in all of the rats over a 3-month period. Crisco is a hydrogenated oil that contains trans fats, which are linked to a number of health risks. And trans fats have a chemical structure that our bodies have trouble recognizing, and that they create free radicals in the body. And these free radicals are linked to health risks such as cardiovascular disease or CVD, breast cancer and colon cancer, diabetes, allergies, essential fatty acid deficiencies, preeclampsia and other pregnancy complications, and more. And some nutritionists argue that while the formula has been changed to remove the trans fatty acids, the fully hydrogenated oil used to replace them might not be good for your health either. So one study showed that enriched fat increased volunteers' blood sugar by 20%, while simultaneously lowering the body's HDL cholesterol. So to avoid these health risks, use different shortening replacements. Avoid products that contain trans fats. Read ingredient and nutrition labels, and avoid products that list any type of hydrogenated vegetable oil. But what items have these hydrogenated vegetable oils? Well, more than you realize. And some we probably know as fast food, potato chips, snack cakes. But there are so many more than you might not realize, such as non-dairy creamer, baked goods, microwave popcorn, crackers, and frozen pizzas. And let's be honest, with the increased price of fast food, it's actually cheaper to make food at home, and it will probably protect your health. So by simply trying to reduce your consumption of these products, it will also help. So as an example, if you're a coffee drinker, such as myself, switch the coffee creamer to an oat milk or almond-based creamer, or even switch to half and half. And that's something I do. I mix cinnamon, vanilla, and sugar into half and half to make a creamer. And it tastes a bit like a cinnamon roll. And Pinterest has some amazing quick recipes that will also save you money on your coffee creamer, and you'll be saving your health too. Hey everyone, I'm just popping in to tell you about Tingly. So Tingly has so many amazing things, whether you're looking for Father's Day, birthday, or the perfect wedding gift. So what is it? It's an experience gift boxes. You can also buy gift cards or getaway gift boxes, and people are able to use these different things to add to a vacation or even just an outing for the day. And use my affiliate link, which is linked down below in the description box, to get your last minute Father's Day gift, the perfect wedding gift, or even birthday gift. Now, I want to dive into vegetable oils that kicked off on bustling streets of the early 20th century America. And amidst the clatter of industry and the aroma of fresh baked bread, a culinary revolution was quietly taking root. It began with the humble soybean, with origins of East Asia, but destined for greatness in the heartland of the United States. And as immigrants from Asia brought their culinary traditions to American shores, they also brought with them the knowledge of soybean cultivation and oil extraction. Meanwhile, agricultural inventors like George W. Carver recognized the potential of soybeans as a versatile crop that could revitalize depleted soils and provide a valuable source of protein and oil. In the fertile lands of the Midwest, farmers began to plant soybeans in earnest. And soon the landscape was dotted with fields of these hardy plants. And they definitely still are today. But it wasn't until the 1930s that the true potential of soybean oil was realized. And this is mostly thanks to advances in the industrial processing techniques. So, enterprising entrepreneurs saw an opportunity to refine soybean oil into a clear, odorless liquid with a high smoke point and a neutral flavor. And this refined vegetable oil, as it came to be known, had numerous advantages over traditional cooking fats like lard and butter. It was cheaper, more readily available, and it boasted a much longer shelf life. And with the rise of refined vegetable oils, American kitchens underwent a transformation. Gone were the days of rendering animal fats or churning butter, and instead, cooks turned to bottles of sleek golden oil for all of their frying, sautéing, and baking needs. From diners to fine dining establishments, refined vegetable oils became the go-to choice for chefs and home cooks. But the story of refined vegetable oils doesn't end there. As technology advanced, new sources of oil were discovered and refined, from corn and canola to sunflower and palm. Each oil brought its own unique flavor profile and nutritional benefits, expanding the culinary possibilities for adventurous cooks. But before we get into the stories of vegetable oil, let's go through the process to transform raw seeds into the refined oil we purchase for cooking and other purposes. And so this is just going to be a general simplified overview of the process. So first, they're going to be doing the seed cleaning and preparation. The raw seeds are going to undergo cleaning process to remove any impurities like dirt, stones, or plant debris. And then next is seed conditioning. So the clean seeds are then conditioned to optimize the oil extraction process. And so this might involve heating the seeds to a specific temperature to loosen the oil-containing cells. Then there's seed crushing and expelling. The conditioned seeds are crushed or pressed to extract the oil. And this can be done through mechanical pressing or a solvent extraction. So mechanical pressing involves applying pressure to the seeds to squeeze out the oil, while solvent extraction uses a chemical solvent like hexane to dissolve the oil from the seeds. Then there's the oil refining. So the extracted crude oil undergoes refining to remove impurities, improve flavor, and increase the shelf life. And this process is going to involve several steps. So there's a degumming process where the crude oil is mixed with water and then heated to remove phospholipids or gums and other impurities. And so these gums are separated and then removed. Then there's neutralization. So the oil is treated with an alkaline solution to remove free fatty acids and other acidic compounds. And this step helps improve the oil's flavor and stability. Then is bleaching. The oil is treated with bleaching earth or activated carbon to remove pigments, residual impurities, and off flavors. Then there's deodorization. The oil is heated under a vacuum to remove volatile compounds that contribute to off flavors and odors. And this step helps improve the oil's taste and aroma. Then there's the final processing. So after refining the oil, it may undergo additional processing steps depending on the desired end of the product. And these might include winterization, so cooling to remove the waxes, fractionization, which is separating different components of the oil, or hydrogenization, if it's going to be used in hydrogenated oils. Then there's the packing and distribution, and the refined oil is going to be packaged into bottles, cans, or other containers for distribution to us consumers. And it may be sold as pure vegetable oil or blended with other oils for specific purposes. So throughout the processing journey, quality and control measures are implemented to ensure the final product meets regulatory standards and consumer expectations for taste, aroma, color, and shelf life. In the mid 20th century, growing concerns about heart disease and the role of dietary fats, vegetable oil emerged as a potential solution. And as researchers began to link high consumption of saturated fats like those found in animal products to an increased risk of heart disease, vegetable oils with their lower saturated fat content seemed like a healthier alternative. So, this scientific understanding coincided with a broader cultural shift towards health consciousness. People were increasingly interested in making healthier choices in their diet and lifestyle. So, sensing an opportunity, producers of vegetable oils began to market their products as heart healthy alternatives to traditional cooking fats like butter and lard. The marketing campaigns emphasized the nutritional benefits of vegetable oils, highlighting their high levels of unsaturated fats, particularly monosaturated and unsaturated fats. And these fats were believed to have a positive impact on cholesterol levels, reducing the risk of heart disease when consumed in moderation as part of a balanced diet. And advertisers employed various strategies to promote vegetable oils as heart healthy options. They highlighted endorsements from medical professionals and used phrases like cholesterol free and heart healthy to appeal to health conscious consumers. Cooking oil brands sponsored educational programs and distributed informational materials to raise awareness about the benefits of vegetable oils for heart health. One of the most significant marketing campaigns promoting vegetable oil as heart healthy occurred during the 1980s and the 1990s. This period saw the introduction of low-fat and fat-free food products, with vegetable oils often replacing traditional fats to reduce overall fat content. And these products were marketed as part of a broader effort to combat rising rates of heart disease and obesity in the United States. But speaking of replacing fat, how many of you spread margarine on your toast instead of butter? Margarine is a vegetable oil that has been chemically altered to act like butter and flavored to taste like it. But when you look at its chemical makeup, it's really only a molecule off from the plastic container that it's sold in. Margarine is one of those foods that boomed in the 80s and 90s. However, we are now starting to understand the impact that it has on our health as a society. So, in addition to marketing directly to consumers, vegetable oil producers also targeted food manufacturers and restaurants, promoting the use of vegetable oils in processed foods and commercial cooking. And this helped to further embed vegetable oils into the fabric of the food industry and reinforce their reputation as heart-healthy alternatives. While the marketing of vegetable oils as heart-healthy has been successful in many of its respects, it also has sparked debate and controversy. Some critics argue that the focus on reducing saturated fat intake may have overshadowed other important factors in heart health, such as overall dietary patterns and lifestyle choices. So there have been concerns about the health effects of certain processing methods used to produce vegetable oils, as well as their high omega-6 fatty acid content when consumed in excess. And I do want to note that not all plant oils are bad for your health. They do have health benefits. Because you see, vegetable oils contain omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids, which are essential fatty acids, meaning that you need them in your diet because our bodies just don't produce them. And this means that the processed foods and pre-made dinners that contain these plant oils are also filled with omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. So the most common of these oils used include soybean oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil, peanut oil, sesame oil, and rice bran oil. So you might be wondering, what's the problem? These oils are heart healthy and they provide a necessary fatty acid in our body. Well, in the past century, Americans have been ingesting as much as 20 times more omega-6 and omega-3 fats than we need. And do you know what the human body does when it has too much of something? Oftentimes it stores it for later, especially fats that it doesn't naturally produce. So scientists have hypothesized that too much omega-6 relative to omega-3 may actually contribute to chronic inflammation, which is an underlying factor in some of the most common Western diseases, such as heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and arthritis. And I'm sure we all know of at least one person who suffers from one or more of those. So, observational studies have also associated a high intake of omega 6 fat to an increased risk of heart disease, despite the fact that many labels on vegetable oils are promoted as being heart healthy. And I want to note that the reason that this is hypothesized is because the links to these disease studies are not widely funded. And yes, we have a lot of funding for cancer. However, it's research to beat the cancer, not to prevent it. And perhaps if there was more funding on how different foods impact our bodies and contribute to different diseases, then we would have a better chance to prevent these things before they are an issue. So as an example of this change are some research articles from the National Institute of Health, or NIH, and they have articles regarding studies. The latest ones I found was published in 2018, and it was written by J.J. D. Nicolantinino, I am so sorry, and James H. O'Keefe. In summary of the research, evidence showed that the omega-6 polyunsaturated fat, linic acid, promotes oxidative stress, oxidized LDL, chronic low-grade inflammation, and atherosclerosis, and is likely a major dietary culprit for causing CHD, or coronary or conventional heart disease, especially when it's consumed in the form of industrial seed oils, commonly referred to as vegetable oils. So nonetheless, the marketing of vegetable oils as heart-healthy alternatives has had a lasting impact on dietary habits and food choices, shaping the way that many people think about fats and their role on a healthy diet. Now, I'm not saying that all people will listen. I remember when restaurants went completely non-smoking, and I know of people today who still smoke. People make their own choices, but I think understanding the impact that a supposed heart-healthy food could have on your health is just equally as important, so then you can make an informed decision. So while scientists do not fully understand what effects omega-6 fats have on the body and require more human studies, they are seeing parallel relationships between the higher intake of these oils over time and the health risks that they pose. So I did find another journal published by James Nam of PharmD, dated July 6, 2018, in Oncology Nurse Advisor, which is titled Link Found Between Skin Cancer Risk and High Polyunsaturated Fat Intake. So the total fat consumption was not found to increase the risk of skin cancer, but a high intake of polyunsaturated fat may be associated with increased risk for certain subtypes, according to the study published in Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers, and Prevention. These words. So dietary fat intake has been associated with various types of cancer in previous studies, including breast, colorectal, and prostate cancers. But data on the effect of fat consumption on skin cancer is lacking. So for this study, researchers evaluated the outcomes of more than 170,000 participants in the Nurses' Health Study, so NHS, and the Health Professionals Follow-Up Study, HPFS, to determine the association between fat intake and skin cancer. So the results showed that a high intake of polyunsaturated fats, or fats found in foods such as soybean, corn, and flax oil, increased the risk of SCC, or squamous cell carcinoma, by 16%, and BCC by 6%. So higher levels of omega-6 fat were associated with melanoma, SCC, and BCC risk, and omega-3 fat intake was found to increase the risk of BCC or basal cell carcinoma, but not melanoma or SCC. The authors concluded that because there have been few experimental and epidemiologic studies of fat intake and skin cancer, our findings on certain types of fat and skin cancer need to be replicated and may motivate future studies. But what health impacts do these oils have on our health in the copious amounts of a standard American? So consumers who are more health conscious, like myself, prefer oils that are made by crushing or pressing plants or seeds, rather than those produced by using chemicals, because our bodies can easily break them down since the remining process is completely natural. Another marketing pull for vegetable oils is that they are also labeled as heart healthy and recommended as an alternative to sources of saturated fat, such as butter, lard, and tallow. But are they really healthier for you? I know I use avocado oil and olive oil because both are excellent choices for cooking, since they are slightly lower in omega-3 and omega-6, as well as being pressed instead of chemically extracted or altered. The other great thing that I mentioned in my last episode is that avocado oil has a smoke point of 500 degrees, making it optimal for a high temperature cooking. With the increased rate of obesity as a society, especially the staggering data on obese children, it is more important to limit processed foods that are high in omega-6 fats, like baked treats, chips, deep-fried fast foods, or takeout meals, and that have these hydrogenated oils as well as those cheap vegetable oils. Another reason to eat better throughout the year so then you can splurge on those carnival foods when they roll into town. And I won't lie, Carney funnel cakes are a must for me. Another thing to consider is that pre-made frozen meals also have a large quantity of vegetable oils in them because it is cheaper than olive oil and avocado oil. And this goes to say everything in moderation. While I will definitely indulge in carnival food when it's in town and deep fry my family recipe meatballs in vegetable oil, I won't be switching over to use vegetable oil in my everyday cooking, even if it is cheaper overall. And you guys all know that I love to save, but compromising my family's health is something that I just won't do. So consider the impact on your health the next time that you go reaching for vegetable oils that are chemically extracted or altered. And if you haven't already, please like this video, share it with someone you think might be interested, and also subscribe to help support this channel because it is completely free. Also, if you hit that notification bell, then you will be able to join me next time as we explore the Mediterranean diet, which is also known as MIND. And it's less of a diet and more of a lifestyle. So we're going to dive in from the historical perspective of how it came to be, what it means, the positive impact it can have on your health, and how you can start to incorporate this lifestyle diet into the way you eat. So this has been Finance Foodie. I am Catherine, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much.